It's Super Videos back at you for another video. This is going to be another comic book video. So they just released the cover reveal for issue 164 of the Walking Dead's comic book. Now we recently got the cover reveal for 163 and it seems like they have revealed the cover for 164 as well. Now what's very interesting about this is that they have also released a summary of the new story arc that's going to be coming up after the Whisper War. So I'm just going to recap a little bit, talk a little bit about what we know about the Whisper War so far before I talk about the things that we're probably going to see coming up with this new story arc, and then I'm going to show you the cover reveal at that point as well. So what we know right now is that the hilltop, it's under attack, it's on fire, and it's probably going to be a loss for the survivors. So they're going to have to leave the hilltop. Now, what we also know is that the battle in the front lines is not going as planned either, and there's been a lot of casualties there. And then if we look at the cover for issue 163, which is Conquered, they actually did reveal that Conquered would be the story arc that's going to be coming up. So that's the new story. Conquered is basically the new storyline, like the Whisper War. Now, we were speculating whether Conquered meant that the survivors are going to be conquered or the Whispers were going to be conquered. And we did see that there was a prosthetic hand in the air and the Whispers were raising their hands in victory, and we were saying that perhaps this means that the Whispers are going to win and that they're going to conquer the survivors. But there's always that chance that they're going to be throwing us off with these covers and putting something that doesn't really happen, and it's just to throw us off. Even with the titles, it's the same sort of thing. But when we look at the cover reveal of issue 164, we can see that there's another community that's being attacked at this point. So the title of this issue is called A Fallen House, and it's basically comparing this house to the survivors. So it's going to be a fallen house, meaning that the survivors are going to be fallen and that they'll be conquered. Then if we look at the cover reveal, we can see that there's this community that's under attack. There are Whisperers that are just breaching the walls. They're inside the community. And what community do you think this is? This is Alexandria, because if you look, they have the windmill. Alexandria is the only community that has the windmill. So it seems like Alexandria is being attacked and the Whispers are breaching the wall. Maybe even walkers breaching the wall as well. So they're both coming into the community and destroying everything. And then, of course, in the front of the cover, we actually have Maggie Green, Herschel Green, and Carl Grimes on the hill looking at Alexandria, which is under attack. Now we know that Maggie, Baby Herschel, and Carl are going to survive the attack on the hilltop for sure. But then what happens to people currently in the community at Alexandria? What's happening with them? Are they dead or can they survive this? And that's very interesting. Now, one more thing I want to say before I get to the summary is that these two issues are going to be in the same month. So issue 163, which is Conquered, and that's the 25-cent issue, is going to be put out on February 1st. And then issue 164, which is called A Fallen House, it's going to be put out on February 15th, I believe. So that's two issues in the same month. So it's going to be very exciting. And we're going to have two back-to-back issues in the same month, which is going to be great. Now, I'm going to get to the summary. Now, for the summary, it's coming from Skybound itself. It's an article Skybound did, but it does include some spoilers in it. Now, if you don't want to know anything and you just want to go into these issues without having any knowledge, you may not want to watch the rest of this. But it's actually not coming from a spoiler website or anything like that. The creators themselves are putting this information out there, which is very interesting and very odd. Now, I have the link to the article in the description so you can go check it out. So the description reads, New story arc Conquered. In the aftermath of the Whisper War, all is lost. And then they continue on to talk about the next issue, which is 164, which is called A Fallen House. And they say Maggie leads the survivors from the hilltop to Alexandria to see it is overrun with the dead. Also, holy crap, there are two issues of The Walking Dead this month. Now, the last bit I already talked about, but for the first two parts, it seems like we now know for sure that all is going to be lost. So the hilltop is gone, the Alexandria safe zone is going to be gone as well, it's going to be destroyed, and it's basically going to be overrun with the dead. Now, the hilltop was just attacked and it's burned down, but it seems like Alexandria is going to be overrun by the dead, and perhaps the Whispers as well. And then we know that Maggie is going to lead the survivors from Hilltop to Alexandria. So it seems like they're basically confirming that everything is lost. Now that's a lot of spoilery information to put in the summary. Now, I don't know why they did it, it's very odd, but I'm very interested to see if they're just lying to us, which is unlikely because they're summaries, or if these are legit, then it's very interesting. And it just means that the series is gonna take a 180-degree turn because the hilltop is gone, Alexandria is gonna be gone. Where do the survivors go? They can't go to the kingdom because the kingdom has turned its back on the survivors. They can't go to the sanctuary because they have also turned their back on the survivors. So where are they gonna go? This leads me to think that perhaps this is where the radio story arc is going to come into play. And we're going to see the survivors of the Whisper War, Rick included. I don't think Rick is going to die, so I think he's probably going to be safe at this point as well. We're going to see them make their way to wherever the location of the people in the radio is. And that's going to be the next story arc of the comic book. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll be back for another video.